got to make a statement.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bobby.
I'm wrong for what I did. I want to publicly apologize to Nico. I feel like I let my fans, the Bulls organization, most importantly my teammates down. This is not who Bobby Portis is.
Bobby, can you coexist with Nico going forward?
Yes, I can coexist with Nico going forward.
Have you, Bobby, the reports are you and Nico have kind of been going at it competitively for a while now. Is this something that was boiling over, or was it just kind of a one-time thing?
Not boiling over. Me and Nico are competitors, and we're in the same position, so we compete.
Bobby, did you feel like Nico kind of instigated the incident?
You know, we're just competing, and things happen.
Have you talked to him about it?
I text Nico, and I called him, he didn't respond.
Bobby, how do you view this season if, when you start to play, when you start to play, are you worried that opponents will try to goad you?
No, I'm not worried that opponents will try to goad me. I'm a competitor at the end of the day, and I just let my play do the talking.
A couple of guys on the team said that you addressed them and apologized. What was it that you said to them?
Saying the same thing I said to you guys. Just trying to, be gentle and kind about the situation. I never meant to hurt Nico. I'm just competing. Things got heated. That's it.
Can you describe the scrimmage from your perspective?
We competing and kind of went back and forth and things happened.
Were you shoved during that process?
No, we just competed and that's what it was.
What was your reaction to yourself right afterwards? Could you have believed that had occurred? You'd done that?
What was the question again?
How did you feel yourself right after it happened? Could you have believed that you had done that? Did you realize, were you surprised about your own reaction or shocked?
Yes, I was surprised by my own reaction because that's not who I was as I first stated.
I'm very disappointed in yesterday's actions. Our locker room's a family, and I understand at times issues can come up in your family. But what happened yesterday, we've created a very competitive environment in this training camp. Guys have really come in with a mindset of competing. We've got a lot of young players that are trying to solidify themselves in the league. Yesterday was no exception to that. We were having a great practice preparing for our opening game in Toronto tomorrow night. There was some talking going on. There was a little bit of pushing going on, but we thought everything would be fine. We never thought it would escalate to the level of what happened. From that standpoint, I'm very disappointed in what happened. Now, my job is to not let this moment derail us. My job is to get these guys prepared to go out and fight and play as a group, and I'm confident that our guys will do that. They've shown that going all the way back into late August when they showed the commitment to be in this gym and be there for each other. We're going to go in tomorrow obviously shorthanded, and for the first part of this season, 10% of our games shorthanded. I'm confident that our guys will rally around each other. I've seen how much these guys care for each other, and we're going to go in tomorrow to Toronto as a group. We're going to learn from this, we're going to grow from this, and we're going to compete, I promise you that. I'll say this, they have been competitive with each other, as have other players on our team have been competitive with each other. They have supported each other at the end of the day with whatever decision is made with our group. Looking back on it, sure, hindsight's 20/20. Should we have stepped in and stopped practice? Guys, I've been a part of this thing as a player. I've seen altercations happen every year, every week, every month. You see things that happen on the floor. When's the right time to step in? I saw it on the best teams I played on, where you had that competitive spirit. You have to have it if you're going to have any chance at all. So, sure, looking back on it, Joe, would we have handled the situation differently? Maybe, I don't know. But we never thought what happened when the line was crossed. We just didn't anticipate obviously, that would happen in this situation.
We obviously had an incident in practice yesterday, a physical altercation between Bobby Portis and Nikola Mirotic. The result of that was some facial injuries to Nico, and some fracture and a concussion. Both players owned responsibility in the incident itself, but only one player threw a punch, and that punch connected, and for us that is inexcusable. It's not who we are. It's it disappoints us in terms of what happened, and because of that we've determined that we're going to suspend Bobby for 8 games. We understand Bobby Portis is not a bad person. He's a good kid. He's a competitive kid. But in this instance, he made a mistake. And as we all know, when you make mistakes, you gotta suffer the consequences. And the consequences in this situation are going to be 8 games where he will be not with us. So that's the decision we came to. This is a team suspension. We did get counsel and advice from the league because this is really unprecedented in a practice situation. There's altercations a lot of times, but the result of Nico's injuries are why we've taken the position that we have, and that's where we are. So how long will Nico be out?
We're anticipating 4 to 6 weeks. But again, with the concussion, that has to be resolved before some of the other things can be taken care of. The facial fracture can be taken care of. So he has to get that resolved first, and that could take some time.
John, fights happen, unfortunately, in practice and in games. Can these two guys play together going forward?
I have confidence in our group, in that locker room. I just spoke to our team. Our responsibility now is to be supportive of both Nico and Bobby. We're a team, we're a group, and you have to proceed that way. These type of things do happen. I mean, I've been a part of them. I've seen them. Positionally, it can happen. I used to get in this little scuffles with BJ when we played, but you can't cross the line, and Bobby crossed the line.
People I've talked to have said that this has kind of been brewing for the last couple of years, that these two have had incidents before, not physical where a punch was thrown, but they have had shouting and shoving. Should this have been put to rest earlier between these two?
No, there's over 2+ years, and again, when you're in a practice situation and you're competitive and you're going up against a guy every day, there's times where you get into things, but it never reached a level that even came close to this. Look, Michael Jordan was the biggest talker in practice of all, chirping at guys and playing that role. So there's been a lot of that over the few years, but nothing remotely close to this. And and so we've dealt with it, and I think we've dealt with it appropriately.
I feel like this one got away from you guys.
Towards the third, coming out, we just didn't click. We didn't have it together. It's tough without Joe. Obviously, he's chemistry and he switched up, so that comes into it. But we got to learn to play without him with those back-to-backs.
Defensively, how can you regroup? You sat out all last season. You saw some tough losses. What did you learn from that perhaps you can tap into here?
We got to stay together as a team, talk it out, get through it, communicate in the court, and hold each other accountable.
Third game in 4 nights. Are you feeling any of that on the court?
Once I'm out there, I'm all right, but I got a little tightness in my body, just nicks and necks.
You guys, it seemed like even from before the first practice, talked about patience a lot. How are you trying to reinforce that message at this stage of the season?
We just got to sit down and look what we did wrong. That's with every game. You got to fix your mistakes and come out ready for the next one. It's a long season.
Are there certain things that you're picking up on in games that give you hope about some promising developments of what could be?
Definitely. As I always say, it's a young team, but we're learning.
Through your first 3 career games, you're joining some heavyweights, Oscar Robertson now the latest. Do you allow yourself to look at your line and how they stack up with the greats?
It looks great, but I'd rather have a win, honestly. I'd rather have 3 wins than double-doubles.
Knowing that Joel perhaps is expected to be in Detroit waiting for you, how much confidence does that give you guys, not only defensively but just as a core?
A lot. He's a huge part of this team, and you know, once he's back there regrouping with the team, I think we'll be good.
For a young lineup, trying to get through bad habits or erasing bad habits night after night when you lose is a key thing. What's the key thing for this club with a young team to keep that mindset?
It's got to be willing to learn and hold each other accountable. That's one of the biggest things with this team, and especially listening to the vets. They've been on different teams and had different players and coaches, so they know what being in this league is about.